Good evening, everybody. It's good to be back. It's been a day since our last stream, so it's nice to be back talking a little bit about football, a sport we all love, and in particular, Nottingham Forest as they head against Tottenham Hotspur tomorrow evening. Tomorrow afternoon, actually, should I say. It's 4:30. But I don't know, if you're somewhere in the world, it's like the evening. So forgive me, but it will be 4:30 tomorrow. Nottingham Forest versus the big Premier League team in terms of performances, Tottenham Hotspur. And obviously, Forest going to be wanting to get something out of that game, albeit very difficult to do so. But they're going to be giving their absolute best to try and make that happen. Now, as I say, Nottingham Forest in a decent position at the moment. They've got one win, one draw, one loss, and not really a bad start to the season. That's 4 points in, out of a potential 9 points. So pretty good, actually, I would say. And if you're going off Derby's Premier League standards, you're nearly halfway there. So it's pretty good so far. But we've got a couple of tough games coming up. And in fact, I would argue, actually, a good few tough games. Now, I know that everybody's looking and going, Tottenham and Man City, let's just throw it away. It is what it is. But in reality, there's a lot more to it than that we do need to look at. The fact that there's a potential we could pick up something. I won't say that's 100%. I would say Man City at the moment are the best team in the world. They're not untouchable, but there's just something about them where it's like, you could be, as we saw with Crystal Palace today, 2-0, you could be 2-0 up, and then all of a sudden you could lose 4-2, or anything could happen. And it's quite a scary scenario when you play Man City. They've got young players. Their B team would probably win the Premier League. They've got unlimited investment, a massive stadium, a very, very well-run club, that's for sure. So Man City smashing it at the moment. They were very close to losing today, but Haaland obviously saving the day as he does. And then some good individual performances there, which obviously made a very good team performance in the end. So very good by Man City today. And obviously Tottenham, we play them tomorrow, as I've just mentioned, at 4:30 at the City Ground. It's a massive, massive game. Now, Tottenham, for me, I still think underperforming. But that being said, though, a very good team that you should never, ever, ever underestimate. So massive day tomorrow. Massive, massive, massive day. And the streams seem to be getting quieter as well. So I don't know what that is. Maybe as we're coming out of the transfer window kind of thing. I know that it's getting a little bit quieter. But I tried to make the streams a little bit earlier whenever I can, because obviously at the moment, I know that people are working hard and things are a bit difficult. So I know that you're all trying to get as much sleep as you can, because I know you'll all be working exceptionally hard at whatever you're doing. So I'm trying to make these streams as early as I can do without making it ridiculously early. Now, good evening, Osborne, Jason, Nick, Greg. This isn't a Southampton shirt, I promise. I know it does look like that, but it is actually a Stuttgart shirt. I love wearing this shirt. It's so comfy. And it's a really, really nice looking shirt as well. Goes good with a grey pair of shorts and some maybe white Madrids. I think white Madrids be going good. Cal, good evening. I hope you're doing well. Declan, Malk, Owen. Yeah, I know that Haaland's carrying Cal's team as well, as she's told me. So don't worry, you're not the only one. I think everybody's team is being carried a little bit at the moment by Haaland. So thanks, Haaland, for everything you're doing. Just a shame that I never added Haaland in my FPL. And I just want to say, the reason I didn't add Haaland was nothing to do with I didn't think he'd do it in the Prem, because I always thought he would. But it was his injury record that concerned me the most, because as soon as Haaland gets injured, which, for him personally, because I know how horrible injuries are, especially for someone like him, it's a momentum. So I hope he doesn't get injured. But all I'm going to say is, for everybody that's got Haaland in their team, the only advice I would give you is look at his injury record, make sure you're prepared and you've got good options ready for in case it goes horribly wrong. But as Nick Hemphill says very rightly, 6 goals in 4 games. Is there actually a league where Haaland won't just go and smash goals in? I don't know if there actually is. It's quite unbelievable what he's doing. But that being said, the way he plays, the amount of goals he scores, the physicality he has, it's hard not to get injured. So this is it. This is it. You're going to have to wait and see what happens with Haaland. If he stays injury free, you guys are going to have the best FPL season ever. If he doesn't, I do pray for you at times, because unless you've got someone like Gabriel Jesus or someone around there to back up, or maybe Nunez as well. Maybe you've got both. It's going to be a bit of a struggle if there's an injury. Now, Nick, 9-0 for Bournemouth today. A little bit. I was going to say lackluster, but I think that'd be a very big understatement. Now, there used to be a Bournemouth Fan TV channel that used to comment here, and I can almost see why he doesn't comment anymore, to be honest, or they don't comment. So, yeah, massive loss for Bournemouth today. Obviously, Liverpool, they wanted to come and show what they had after that Man U game, but, I mean, yeah, unreal. Fair play to the guy on TalkSport that bet £5, and he's now won £1,000 from it because it was 200 to 1. So fair play to him. I'm sure he's going to be very, very happy with that result. Evening to you, my friend. I hope you're doing good. Dean, I hope you're doing well. Kev, good to have you on the show. James, no, don't do it. Don't do the aha. I'm sorry. Aha. There you go. I'll give you one. Clip it if you want, but that so I don't ever see that again. Pep will rotate Haaland for the midweek games. Exactly, but Pep knows this. The Man City medical team will know this. He's got a bit of a weird record in terms of injuries, Nick, as you're kind of skirting along. So yeah, he's a very good player. Scores a lot of goals, has a lot of team contributions all round. But to be completely honest with you, injuries will be my biggest concern. But yeah, rotating him in the midweek games, like against us on Wednesday, it's going to happen. But I'm hoping I can get a picture with him. Let's hope. Absolute whitewash, yeah. Iggy Tommy, good to have you, and everybody that's joining in from the Forest Fans Hub stream. Please remember to drop a subscribe to them. Absolutely fantastic channel, doing a lot with Forest content at the moment, getting some really good guests on. They had Wolverine on today with Stanhope's Away Days and Joe Pratt and Ez, obviously. So really, really enjoying their streams, and a very, very good debate. It was a real sense of debate. Got me on the edge of my seat a little bit, I must say. Mark, Gamer1316, I hope you're doing good. Good to have you on the stream. Don't forget, guys, if you just literally drop a quick like, only takes a second, you're bumping up the algorithm, and it goes a long way. So if any of you have watched Mark Goldbridge as well, all I'm going to say is, for any game that I can't go to for whatever reason, which will be very, very limited amounts, we will be doing watch-alongs, and we will also be doing Mark Goldbridge style, but call-ins kind of thing. So eventually at some point, I'd like to set up maybe, I don't know, like a 3 or 4 hour slot where there's 4 different hosts. Each host has an hour and you call in. That's the plan anyway. Well, I'm looking into it at the moment, but the plan is to have 4 different hosts, a little 5-minute kind of Passover period, and then do a little call-in show. That's the hope. I'm going to see if I can make it work first, but we'll wait and see. Bournemouth so far, they've played 4, and they've won 1, drawn 0, and lost 3. Yeah, it's a bit embarrassing, that is. 17 goals, that's really bad. I mean, don't get me wrong. Bournemouth, they kicked off in a decent way. I can't remember who it was that they actually beat. But Bournemouth, to lose 9-0 to Liverpool, I mean, don't get me wrong, Liverpool are a very, very good side. And a very good side. They've got a lot of injury problems and whatever. And obviously they wanted to come out with it and win. Obviously they wanted to come out with it and win. But at the same time, there has to be some element of Bournemouth or the tactics they use where you just go, Christ, they left themselves a bit open there. You know what I mean? And it's, after a certain extent, do you just give up as a player? Because, I've been in Saturday League games where you're 6 or 7-0 down, and it's obviously been an awful day, the worst day you can ever imagine, and it's once in a decade. But, if you give up, then I don't know. I just think, and Liverpool were just having the time of their life with it. And Salah, oh my, I'm sorry if any of you have captained Salah for that game, but geez, I mean, come on. What was that all about? How did you miss that? Very good player, but I can't believe he didn't get a goal contribution all game. That shocked me. Yeah, TalkSport are at it again with Forest. In fact, I'll give Jamie O'Hara something, because he was actually very kind to Forest, saying that, they're going to put up a very tough fight against his old club in Tottenham. So, yeah, I think Jamie O'Hara and Gabby Abonglahor generally, on the call-in show, they're quite not, I wouldn't say kind, because then it just sounds like they're just being kind for the sake of it. I'd say that they're quite realistic, because they'll be honest, but they also have a reasoning for why they think Forest will be a tough opposition and why Forest have brought in so many players. So I think there's some elements of talk sport, like when there was a bit of commentary earlier and they were talking about Forest, it's like, oh, you're just kind of being a bit slanderous, really. But then other bits, actually, they've covered decently, and I think Sky have done good coverage as well. So, yeah, there's been some good moments from Sky and a little bit from TalkSport as well. I'll give them something, and Jamie O'Hara's done a good job of it. Let's have a look. Evening, Warren. Good to have you. Southpaw Red. I hope you're doing well. Andrew Sharp. Good to have you. Let's hope we are all smiling. 6:30. Let's all hope we are. Malete. Good to have you. Rocky Balboa. Hi, Jamie. Only thing that worries me is the back three with near Cartier out. It's back to last season's. Look, it's never going to be easy when you haven't brought in another player to potentially go there. What I would say is, though, on this, you've got Cook, Worrell and McKenna. There's a potential for Kouyaté to jump in if necessary. I mean, I don't know what a back four would really do. I mean, it would leave... I mean, I don't know how much you guys agree with this, but you know, sometimes Joe Worrell can be left a little bit exposed, if you like, when Nico's gone up for the run, which isn't really a fault of Nico's, because I must say, you know, with some of the attacking transitions against Everton, it was all Forest on the attack, and then all of a sudden it's Everton so quickly, you know, the fastest of people would struggle to get back in time. So I don't really think it's necessarily Nico's fault in that respect. I just think it's the tactics, and, you know, unfortunately sometimes it goes against you when it comes to the counter attack. So I mean, I wouldn't say a 4-3-3 is necessary, because I'm sure they're going to do the three at the back as they usually do. But I would say, though, Kouyaté's there. You know, Steve Cook, he's got a lot of experience. He would have played Tottenham with Bournemouth. He would have probably played against Heung-min Son and Kane, and also probably Richarlison at some point with Everton. So he's seen what these players can do. He probably has previous analysis from other Bournemouth managers. Eddie Howe, for example, would have given him the rundown of what these players are like. And he can bring that experience to Forest. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that just because we've got Steve Cook, that's it. Harry Kane's neutralised, Son's neutralised, Richarlison's neutralised. I'm not saying that, because the likelihood is Richarlison will start, right? But what I will say, though, is that there's experience with, you know, Steve Cook, you know, to guide the defence a little bit. And I'm sure Worrell's been working on everything we spoke about. It's not like me here in my bedroom in the middle of Nottinghamshire is saying Worrell needs to put his hand out, not on the player, and keep a metre away from the player, you know, if they're pacey. Just a natural thing a defender does. You know, I was a defender. So what I will say is that, you know, they know what they need to do now. They know what they need to improve on. They'll already be working on it in training. If I know it, I can almost guarantee Steve Cooper knows it. And as someone did mention as well, you know, there's no worse, you know, no more harsh critic than Joe Worrell himself. He's going to be going home. He's not going to be going home smiling and laughing that he's let a goal in for his team of however many years. He's going to be upset. You know, he's going to be upset that, you know, because I know for a fact if I've ever made a mistake, I feel ridiculously upset when, you know, it unfortunately leads to a goal for the other team. He will feel the same. We're human. If you've ever played a game of football and you've made a mistake, you've made a bad pass, or you've not got the header that you hoped for, or maybe you haven't positioned yourself correctly, then that's football. But at the end of the day, there won't be, and as you know, rightfully said, I can't remember, it may have been Wolverine or whoever said it, there won't be any, you know, more harsh critic than Joe Worrell himself on that occasion. So, you know, you've got to not be kind to Joe, because you can criticise, you can be constructive, you can say what you like about him. But what I'm saying is that he will know what he needs to improve on now, and he will do that. That's why you've got, you know, however many, you know, hours of training to go. They're going to be working on it. So I would just say, let's try and be positive. Let's look at the game with, you know, an open mind. What could Steve Cooper change? What could Steve Cooper do? What could the players do? What could the players change? You know, I think we're probably going to see Brennan Johnson, Morgan Gibbs-White, maybe Awoniyi start, to be honest. But I don't know how people feel about Awoniyi, because I said it on last night's stream. I said, look, Tottenham, they're a good opponent. They've got what? Eric Dyer, Sanchez, Ben Davis, and then whoever they've got. I don't know if it's like, I can't remember who it was that they've got at the right. But Tottenham as a whole, good team. But I think that if Awoniyi could not bully necessarily, but like he did with Zuma at West Ham, if he can just provide that physical presence within the Tottenham defence, just give him a bit of a budge and just let them know he's there, wear him out for a little bit. Then as soon as it comes to 60, 70 minutes, or even earlier than that if necessary, then take Awoniyi off and put Dennis on, or vice versa. Do it the other way, because I see it almost as like the Keenan Davis and Sam Surridge situation last season. You watch, Keenan Davis go and tear it up for 60, 65 minutes. And then usually around 65, 70 minutes in, he'd be taken off. Surridge would come on, maybe get the odd goal or whatever. Because by that time, Keenan Davis run ragged with the defence and Sam Surridge goes and finishes them off. And likewise with this, albeit, Awoniyi's still got a lot to work on. I think that he can do the damage in terms of wearing him out, the Tottenham defence out, and then you can have someone like Dennis, or if you wanted to push Lingard into that position, or Morgan Gibbs-White and Lingard as the 10, you could do that. But that's just my thoughts on it. I want to know, who would you have as starting as the? I mean, I think Brennan Johnson for me would have to start anyway. But who would you have starting alongside Brennan Johnson? Do you think my suggestion is correct, or what do you think? Let me know what you think, guys. And don't forget, you can actually join the stream by clicking the invite link, which is in the comments. So that is pinned in the comments right now. And if you are interested in joining, giving a bit of your thoughts and having a general chat with me as well, then please feel free, because we would love for you to come and join and give your thoughts, because don't forget, this is your channel. I do this purely for your enjoyment. So there's 103 of you in as well. If we can just get a few more likes, that'd be absolutely phenomenal. Literally all you got to do is just click the little the like button in the bottom left hand corner of the video, and it goes a long way, as I say. Now, looking at some of these comments, where's your Stuttgart shirt, says Brian Rorison. It's on me. You saw it earlier, Brian. You should know this. He saw it earlier. I saw you in the pub earlier. Yeah, Give us a score prediction, please. Okay, Scott. I've got 2. Okay, I've got 2. And I said this to a guest that's coming on very soon, and another great friend of mine. And I said to both of them, I said, I think an ambitious me says 2-2 Forest, but a realistic me says, and I say realistic, but I say a very harsh, a very nasty. I don't want to say it because I never predict Forest to lose. So do you know what I'm going to say? I'm not even going to tell you my honest, realistic prediction. I'm going to just say this: it's 2-2 for me. So 2-2. Nottingham Forest, to get maybe a late goal. But I think Tottenham will be, there's a lot of noise in the City ground. There's no denying it. It's a smaller ground than their stadium, obviously. Sound doesn't have to travel as far, you could say. But, it's a special atmosphere. It's a really, really special atmosphere. I think 2-2 is, for me, quite ambitious. So, but I'm going to say I think 2-2 can be done, because let's be honest, I think Conte's reaction to the questions in the press conference, talking about our history and talking about Steve Cooper as a manager and the players that we've signed and said that we've made good transfer, moves. You've got to say it. I think that Conte was spot on with the interview. And I'm not just saying that because he's just being nice to Forest. I'm saying it because even if he was saying bad things about Forest, but he was still admitting and talking about our transfer window as not just, oh, you're doing a Fulham or you spent a lot of money without saying anything after that, that's when there would have been concern. But he literally said they've spent a lot of money, but they made some really, really good signings. So, Tottenham are very good. They've got a good manager in Conte, but even they have underperformed so far this season. So, it's a really, really, really weird one for me, because I think there's an element of me that says, oh gosh, and no, Simon, it's not 2-0. It was 2-1. I was thinking, right? That I'm just going on now. It was 2-1 that I was saying, right? But I would say 2-2 because there's something in me that goes, do you know what? Forest have got bite in them, and as Nick Hemphill says, Son isn't on form yet. Let's hope he does find it after Sunday. But, Son isn't on form yet necessarily. They've not done particularly well in the start of the season. And obviously, the results and the points they've got doesn't show what I'm saying is even true. If you were just looking at points, you could go, mate, you're talking, you're talking crap, right? But they were unlucky not to lose against, they were lucky not to lose against Chelsea. Wolves nearly got the better of them in that game and could have got a draw, maybe even more, who knows? So for me, I think that it's, I think that Tottenham are a very good side that you shouldn't underestimate, but so are we. So, definitely looking forward to that game. And coming to give us his opinion as well is Liam Stanhope, who's just been on Forest Fans Hub. And as I say, he's got the fresh trim. Liam, how are you doing?
All right, mate. Are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. How are you feeling? Because this is the Tottenham preview. I just want to say for everybody, the stream last night wasn't a preview. This is purely talking Tottenham and Forest. Liam, how are you feeling ahead of that game? And what do you think of my assessment ahead of that?
I agree with you, mate. I don't want to blow smoke and say, oh, we're going to batter him and it's going to be easy tomorrow. Pessimistic, is it? Where you're hopeful. Is that it? Am I saying the right thing there?
Oh, don't make me do English lessons now, Liam. I've nearly done with my 6-week holidays. I've got another week of not thinking about this now. But if anybody
honestly,
knows,
I cannot predict tomorrow's game.
Not even a single score prediction.
I said 2-2 as well, but do I believe it's going to be 2-2? No.
What? So are you? Because I know the psychology of how this works as a Forest fan, right? You as a Forest fan, you go into every game and you think, oh God, we're playing these guys. I don't want to say that Forest are going to lose, because we don't want to say that. Because why? It makes you feel rubbish going into a game. If I went into West Ham thinking, right, we're going to get battered 3-0, I'm going to go into that game with a horrible attitude. I'm not going to enjoy the game, and I'm just going to be waiting there for a beating and just thinking, well, I'm just here to drink with my friends, or I'm just here to, to commentate on a game we're going to lose. Nobody wants to go in with that. So I know what you're saying, because of course you think, what's your honest, because I know that the score you've just given me probably isn't the one that you're thinking of. As long as you're not going Chris Sutton on us, I think we can accept.
No. I don't. They're going to play it well, but it's going to be a scrappy game again. It's like what I said with West Ham. It could be 1-0 either way. I don't think we're going to get hammered. I think it's all on if Son turns up. If he turns up tomorrow, he creates. But on the other hand, if our centre-backs bully Kane and him, they're going to cause trouble. Like I said on that Forest Fan Hubs, I think we needed near Cartier for every game this season to bully the strikers. We need to force Kane to drop very deep to pick up a ball, which if it's Mangala and O'Brien in the middle, they can force him to do that.
Well, let me ask you this then, because I want to talk about bullying defenders, but it's hopefully not going to be about bullying our defenders. Let's hope that Son's not bullying them, because we know that he can turn players inside out ridiculously easy, right? Ridiculously easy. And obviously, Scott, I don't think it will be 9-0, but even that would be more than what Chris Sutton says, isn't it? So, but let me just ask you this:
9-0. Can I just say that?
And I believe me, I think that the way that they've conducted themselves with Forest as well, it's good to hear them not on Twitter. But I want to ask you a serious question now, though, Liam, because I want to say the attacking options, Forest have got a good few. You've got Surridge, who's been sharp shooting, and yes, you can say it was against Grimsby, but it was actually a lot before that. Throughout the Championship, his shot conversion rate was next to none, and he was brilliant. Bar the end of the season when he had a bit of an injury issue. But I want to know, who are your front two, and then a number 10 obviously just behind. So who are your kind of your front three, if you like, that start against Tottenham tomorrow?
So I'd play one striker on their own. So it'd be Surridge on his own up front, because he's he is our best striker. He's clinical. Maybe we just can't play it in the air to him. If we do that tomorrow, we're going to get beasted. If we play that long ball in the air game, we'll get battered tomorrow. Johnson on the right for me.
So you're going for a 4-3-3 or a 3-4-3?
So 3-5-3 technically, but you
That's
have
not
Sam
possible.
Surridge in front of everyone.
That's impossible. No, you're going for a 3-4-3, aren't you? Because at 3-5-3, that'd be 11 there, and you still got the keeper. You'd be playing 12 players there, Liam. We all want to play a 3-5-3, brother.
From Nottingham. Yeah,
we all want to play a 3-5-3.
Three start the game with 3 centre backs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you've got obviously Williams and Toffolo. Two in the middle, O'Brien and I'd say Gibbs White.
Okay, so you think Surridge, Gibbs White, and then Jono?
Yeah, and that leaves one more then, doesn't it? If Mangala's fit, then him as well.
So what about Dennis and Awoniyi then? Because I'm going to do what I did last night. What about those guys? Because albeit, yes, Awoniyi's got a goal that wasn't particularly enjoyable to watch, although got us the winner against West Ham. It was a goal's a goal, right, in the Prem. It doesn't matter how you get it, just get it. But why not Awoniyi? Because I think he brings that physical presence, and Tottenham haven't got a particularly massive group of defenders really compared to other teams. Zuma's a pretty big guy, but what about Eric Dyer and Ben Davies and Sanchez? I mean, decently big guys. I mean, bigger than me, obviously, but not really bigger than Awoniyi. I think Awoniyi poses a bit of a threat physically there.
Yeah, I think we need to focus on that speed that they bring. Johnson brings, Morgan Gibbs White brings, and the football that they can play with that. And if you've got speed on your team, you're not going to pump. Hopefully, you're not going to pump a ball long. You're going to play it down, which is our best football. Everyone we beat last season, the ball was on the floor.
Well, that being said,
Leicester,
though, we used to see last season, Jed Spence make the run down the right. Worrell would ping one up over a midfielder to Jed Spence. He'd put the cross in, and then there'd be a goal. So, what do you think about that? Because in reality, it could actually only take 3 passes to score a goal. Although it's more difficult in the Prem, I'm sure. But the tactic we used last season, you could get 3 passes and a goal.
Yeah. I mean, we work best when we overload, don't we? Down whatever wing we use. Like Toffolo, the goal with West Ham, he overloaded, didn't he? I think one thing that'll be interesting to see is obviously against West Ham, every time we had 2 on Toffolo, didn't we? Or Williams, right? They tried to overload. How we deal with that with Tottenham. But it's got to be on, for me, if we win, it's a ball on the floor game.
Well, I mean, it's obviously not going to be easy. Spurs, a very good side. And Liam just then went for Mangala as the midfielder and then the 3 attackers with Morgan Gibbs White, Surridge and Johnson. But I've always touted the idea of maybe instead of having Jono in that right, so out of the 2, you've got Jono just a little tiny bit back, and then Awoniyi or whoever else, just a little bit tiny more forward. Well, what do you think about having Jono as the number 9? Would that be something that you consider?
I just think Johnson's best game is cutting in and playing off the last man with that speed. I don't see him as a back to goal striker. For me, he's one where you're playing him through, and through the middle. For me, it won't be playing to Johnson's strength. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. But I just thought maybe worth an ask anyway. But obviously, I mean, let's look at Rocky Balboa's starting 11. He's got Henderson in goal, Worrell, Cook, McKenna, Nico, and then Toffolo as well. In the midfield, from what I can make of it, O'Brien, Mangala. So let me ask you, so what are we going for then? Are we going for a, what are we going for? Are we going for a, well, I'm trying to work out what we're going for there. 5. I mean, who's...
It all depends on how much freedom you're going to give Morgan Gibbs-White, doesn't it?
Yeah, and what position he's playing in as well, because it would be either Lingard up front or, well, Morgan Gibbs-White up front, I assume, because obviously you're not going to drop Brennan Johnson as a cam, are you? So I don't know what. Yeah, I think 3-4-2-1. He says. Interesting. Well, let's all have a look and talk about in particular as well the 5 subs that we've got available, because as someone very rightfully mentioned, it was Jimmy Wright. We're Nottingham Forest play on the floor. We've got 5 subs, and obviously in those subs you're going to have Freuler, you can have Yates, you could have Dennis, from what people are saying.
I completely forgot about Freuler, to be fair.
You forgot about Freuler, and most people have forgot about Dennis as well.
Because he brings that physical aspect of.
You've got Kouyaté as well. You've got to remember, you've
for me.
So you've got loads of players.
Was you at the Grimsby game?
I wasn't at the Grimsby game. I wasn't.
He looked class at centre back as well. So
what was he like pace wise?
What was that? Sorry.
What was he like pace wise?
He's good. Their striker was very pacey, and he was strong, and he got across his man. He was good. Freuler was good. He was our main outlet in that game. And then obviously Dennis was unreal as well. His cutting and his feet, for now, that'd be very good off the bench, in my opinion.
So going into Tottenham then, are you in the camp of, obviously I know you've said Surridge to start, but let's say there was 2 options. You've got the physical gift, the physical package where, for example, you've got a Awoniyi up front and then Johnson alongside him. Or Dennis and Johnson, maybe. Well, what would you go for?
What if I had just them 2 choices?
If you just had those 2 choices, because this is what's playing around in my mind. It's either for me, Dennis and Johnson, or Awoniyi and Johnson. I don't really see Dennis. Johnson. You go Dennis to start with.
Yeah, he's a. Was it to you last night? Awoniyi's like, he's got this clumsiness about him that all through pre-season, I don't think he's shaken it yet.
Oh.
And to me, Dennis against Grimsby is so confident. I know it's a League 2 side, but you can only play against who you're playing, can't you?
But he got an assist in his first however many minutes he played.
Yeah, he got 2 assists against Grimsby. So, and he wanted to score.
Oh, Liam's internet's gone there. Yeah, I know Liam's just floating ahead at the moment. I don't know what's going on at the moment. Seems as though he's gone. His internet's gone. There.
Sorry, mate.
He's back. You were saying?
He wanted to score. He wanted to assist. Usually, you don't get that in a play. They're all or nothing. But
well, Liam, let me ask you one.
Vision.
Yeah, well, let me ask you one last question before we get some other guests on. I do want to ask you, in terms of the Tottenham game, obviously you've said 2-2 potentially. You've kind of agreed with what I've said on that behalf. But I mean, some people like Chris Sutton saying that Steve Cooper's tactics and the way Forest play will actually play into the hands of Tottenham. Now, do you have a message for any Tottenham fans out there? Because for me, it won't be easy for us to beat them, but it certainly won't be easy for them to beat us either.
I don't think any Tottenham fan will be coming to. They'll be a bit deluded if they think they're just going to come and walk it. In my opinion, they need to set up correctly as well. Like the Arsenal thing on Amazon. It was interesting to see the players' mentalities of such a good side. And they were going and getting turned over by Southampton at probably they should be walking off the pitch, really.
Well, it's definitely I don't know how I feel about all these TV shows. That being said, though, if Amazon wanted to come and make one about Forest, I'd love that. I just don't think Steve Cooper would ever agree to doing it, to be honest.
I think you see the stroppiness of the players on that.
Yeah, you do.
Like the Tottenham one.
You do.
Dele
But I
Alli
think
throwing his boots every single time.
But that says a lot about Dele Alli. I think that he's, unfortunately, as much as I go that it's a media hype and, that he needs better people around him as well, there's got to be some self-responsibility he takes, because at the end of the day, Dele Alli, he was a very good player. I still think there's ability there and there's still a bit of prospect there, but I just don't think he really cares much about that now. He's got the money that he wants to get. He seems to have wanted to achieve and done what he wanted to do. I mean, how winning no trophies? I don't think he's really won. Or if he has won one, there's not been many. The Audi Cup, for example, he's going to Turkey at the age of 26 with still potential, still good ability, but he just doesn't have a clue how to bring it out of himself. And also, if he did have a clue, he wouldn't want to bring it out of himself, because he's not proactive enough. He doesn't really care enough to do that. So for me, I think that although it's very sad that obviously, Dele Alli is essentially throwing away his career by moving to Besiktas. Not saying they're a bad team by any means, but he has kind of, you make your bed, lay in it. You know what I mean? It's you've done that to yourself now. So, but that's it. And I think when it comes to those kinds of documentaries, I think he does expose certain players. And I think it would have been very interesting to have seen a documentary on Forest in promotion season. I would have really liked to have seen something like that, to be honest. I think that would have been really, really interesting. But I guess we'll never know. But I think players like Spence and others, it would have been interesting to kind of see and hear a little bit about what they were like. Because I know that Spence, although, it looked from the outside as though he loved the club so much and we were the best thing that's ever happened to him. For me, I just don't think, I don't think he really was all that, caring and everything else as he made out to be about Forest. But that's just my opinion on it. But I think that Steve Cooper would reject an Amazon documentary being made about the club. But Liam, listen, it's been good to have you on. It's been amazing. You are now literally a floating head. If you moved your camera anymore and it was completely black, you would be a floating head. Be something like Futurama, wouldn't it? There's little glass things and they put their heads in. That'd be quite funny. But Liam, you've been an amazing guest. Have you on again very, very soon. And I've also got some good news, and I will say it whilst Liam's here, because we were on the stream with Dave yesterday, and we definitely need more streams with you, with me and Dave and Joe as well. I'm very pleased to say, and we haven't got any dates confirmed, but me and Dave will be running a Dave and Jay show, or a Jay and Dave show, for an hour each week, just talking about the football. We're going to get Dave's opinions as a very knowledgeable individual, but different generations of football fans. Dave, I'm not going to say, obviously being in his late 20s, he's a different generation to me. So be good to get different generations' opinions on the football. So Jay and Dave's show, that's coming very soon as well on the channel. And then there'll be a few other bits coming here and there. But Liam, any kind of final messages? I know you've got a YouTube channel, so if you want to shout that out.
Yeah, so I'll be at the game tomorrow. I'll be at Man City on Wednesday. My next target's to hit 700 subscribers. I think I'm on 671 or something now, so not far away. But I'm not. I just want to put some good content out right now. I'm not really bothered about the viewership of it. I took 2 weeks off of it, so yeah, I just want to put the quality out and get my opinion across. I mean, the Grimsby one I put out yesterday was rushed and rubbish, to be honest.
But remember what I told you, though. Do you remember when we had that phone call? We had a phone call, and you've just got to, something that I've always been told, because before this, I actually had a podcast, which none of you, and I still do it every now and then, which none of you have ever even heard of. And we had some good guests on there. We've had UFC fighters. We've had even someone that's been on Joe Rogan. We've had Lee Wood before he was a champion. We've got Lee Wood when we just missed the playoffs with Lamucci. Do you know what I mean? We've got some banging interviews on there. But they're pulling 25 views an episode, and you think, Christ, I've got 400 friends on Facebook. I get no shares, I get no likes, no comments. But at the end of the day, those 25 people that watched you, that you've made an impact on them, and even if it is only 25, if it's 2 or 3 people, mate, in an hour, who cares? You've made an impact on 2 or 3 people. And, if those 2 or 3 people really enjoy it, they'll keep sharing it. So my advice to anybody, and you, Liam, as well, and you've took this advice, and albeit, you're saying it was rushed or whatever, but I know the things you're going to do in the future won't be, at the end of the day, it's make sure you're having a positive impact on someone. Doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter how many people there is,
And
just enjoy it.
One thing I do ask for, anyone in here, if you do see me, come and give your opinion for me to record. That's the one area I'm struggling on right now. I want people to get involved. I don't want it to be my monotone voice all the time and my little bit of opinion. If you've got an opinion, I'll always take it and listen to it. And we can have a bit of banter there and then. And I'll see everyone at away games, home games, and I'll always speak as well. So
you're a good man, Liam. Well, listen, everybody subscribe to the amazing Stanhope's Away Days, and that's Liam Stanhope that we just had on the stream there. So, Liam, thank you very much for joining us, my friend. Amazing. That was Liam there, everybody. Now, as I say, and this is, consistency is key. And Scott, you're absolutely right on that. And I just want to say, hard work, consistency. I mean, I've tried to be as consistent as I can, since June. I've probably made maybe 35 to 40 videos, So at the end of the day, but there's people that are being very consistent. Liam, obviously before his 2-week break, very, very consistent, and he's done really, really well. But it's quite, for YouTubers, because I set up a YouTube channel years ago as well, and I was running that for about a year and a half doing Fortnite. This was back when it was cool, and I was about 11. And I used to get 5 views per video, and it was like 20 subscribers. Oh my God, I'm so happy, going to make it big, but as soon as I stopped caring about viewers and I started just enjoying the content we make and talking about things that we enjoy, it became really, really good. So, any advice to anybody that's listening, because I know there's young subscribers that listen. I know there's people that maybe are a little bit older and feel like they've not got time to do it, or they feel they're too old to do it. I've heard people say, don't think that way. Keep motivated. If you really want to do it, go and do it. Be prepared to sacrifice a lot of time. Learn how to use Photoshop and get DaVinci Resolve as an editing software. That's the recommendation I would give you. Although Door's editing software is quite good as well. I can't remember the name of it. But Door, if you're listening, then tell us what editing software you use. I can't remember what it is. But listen, we're here to talk about Forest, aren't we? We're here to talk about Forest. Now, any questions that you may have, feel free to ask me, and I will happily answer them with hopefully a tad of knowledge in there as well. I hope you all like the new thumbnail as well I used today, because I made it on Photoshop instead of Canva today, and I'm actually quite impressed with it. And along with that as well, I've also got the new Media Man logo coming as well. So the new Media Man logo, which we don't actually really have, but we just have the text saying the Media Man. I'm pleased to say we've actually got a logo now. So been working on it today, and I think it looks rather splendid. So I'll show you that all very soon. Kids of Red Talk, thank you very much. You're very kind. I wouldn't say I'm the GOAT. I would not say I'm the GOAT by any means. But if any of you do want to actually hear, if you do want to hear this interview with Lee Wood, by the way, now this is when I was a very amateur, young man. I've never really done podcasting before that. If any of you do want to hear this interview with Lee Wood, literally just give me a shout and I will, I'll happily send it to you, because I mean, as I say, this was a very long time ago, when we just missed promotion with Lamucci. So put it into perspective, a long while ago. And as I say, this was before Lee Wood was even a champion. So I'm trying to think of what episode it was actually. What episode was it? Let's have a quick look. I think it may have been. Oh, there's so many episodes. I'm sorry, everybody. Having a look at how many episodes there is. Oh my goodness. There's so many. There's like 80 episodes. But I'll find it for you anyway, and let you know as well. But yeah, I did one with Lee Wood a good while ago, and really, really fun times. Really, really fun times. Yeah, I mean, you've got Freuler, you've got you've got a lot. You've got a lot going on there. Yeah, you got Froyley, you got Mangala, you got Yates. You know, obviously probably not going to get picked, but Cafu and Colback, you know, you've got players there available, ready, and you've got to pick them all against the Tottenham side as well. So unlucky Stevie Cooper, but you know, you're spoiled for choice. I'd rather be overpopulated than underpopulated, and to be fair, that's what Forest are. They're overpopulated at the moment. I think in that midfield a little bit. I just don't think we need Houssem Aouar, and I do want to ask that question. Do you really think that Houssem Aouar is necessary to the project that Forest have got going off there? Do you really think that James Garner is necessary to the project going on there? And also, how do you feel about Estupiñán, who's got a couple of goals for Brighton today? He was good, wasn't he? Estupiñán. So he was also one of those that was rumoured to join Forest. He got a goal, I know, a couple of games. I think, was it last game, actually? Was it a different game that I'm talking about here? I'm sure there was a game where he scored not that long ago. Someone was mentioning it. But anyway, Estupiñán, very good player. Kizza Red Talk, thank you for your donation. You're very, very kind, my friend. Much appreciated. Don't forget that 50% of all money donated goes to charity. So please do, you know, feel free to donate if you would like. It goes to Mind Charity, which helps people with their mental health, which I know is a very big subject and something that perhaps we've overlooked for a long time. So thank you for that, Kieran. It means a lot to me. Evening, Joe. I hope you're doing well. Enjoyed the stream earlier, my friend. Really good chat. Nick, yes, I'll have a look when I'm finished with this. I know it's like Christmas, isn't it? It's like Christmas. You've got all the opportunities, all the players you could ever want. Morgan Gibbs White was someone that I wanted. Didn't think we'd get, but hey, we got him. So I'm really, really, really excited. So what did you think of Tony Cascarino? I don't really know, to be honest. I didn't really tune in much when he was talking because I just thought there was just not really much need. But I didn't really listen too much to that because I was kind of zoned out. I was learning how to do Photoshop all of today. And I just want to say as well, I'm going to be using a new streaming software as well soon. So if you like what Mark Goldbridge's looks like, mine's going to be similar to that. So I've just got to sort a couple of things and then it'll be like that. So it's going to have the desk, it's going to have the cup of coffee, it's going to have everything on it. It's going to look so, so cool. Let's have a look at some of the comments. Off to see Lee in a few weeks. Greg, how much are the tickets? Because I'm looking at going to watch Lee. I used to train at the same gym as Lee. It's a story for you. I love Lee Wood. I remember when I was a kid just messing about on the little pads and the boxing bags and whatever. And Lee Wood was actually there at the time. So not many people have heard of him by then. Got in contact with him on Instagram. And since then we kind of stayed in touch. Kind of. I don't speak very much, but yeah, Lee Wood is one of our own. He's a legend. Greg, let me know how much tickets are, and I will look at purchasing one. We'll look at purchasing one. Okay, let's have a look. Be chance to change to the back four, to four at the back. It's an interesting one. I mean, look, I don't know how I feel about four at the back. I mean, Joe Worrell's less exposed, obviously, but Nico doesn't really get as much opportunity to run as much as he can, which I will miss because I really do like it when Nico goes for a run. So yeah, it's a tough one. There's benefits and there's drawbacks, but I think I'm gonna leave. You know, I'm gonna leave my judgments down to Steve Cooper. It's a really, really, really tough one. Stand up to Wales. Thank you for your kind words. You have to take. Oh yeah, thank you. Look, Liam. Yeah, please subscribe to Liam, and also, you know, if you want to subscribe to me, also please do. Feel free. We're nearly at 1,200 subscribers. So if you can make that happen, that'd be great. It's 116 of you in, and guess what? There's only 55 likes. That means that over 60 of you haven't liked. Please drop a like. Goes a long way. Let's have a look. Aouar, no, says Harold. Harold says no. Sean says no Garner. Harold Larwood says no Aquarium. I'm joking. I know that you've fixed that. Sean Bauer says Cafu, Colback and Taylor to be loaned out or sold. Interesting. Joe wants Gibbs White to stay but doesn't want Gibbs White to start, but doesn't want Garner to come to the club. Terrible footballer and TalkSport pundit. There's actually good TalkSport pundits, to be fair. I think, we always talk, have a bit of banter, but in reality, we're only directing our anger at TalkSport because of Richard Keys or because of Tony Cascarino or whoever you're mentioning. But in reality, I think Gabriel Agbonlahor is good. I think Jamie O'Hara seems to be doing a little bit of a decent job. I mean, he did get, when me and him had a conversation last week, he got it wrong with Frank Lampard, but I'll let him off on that one, to be honest. But Frank Lampard did spend 212 million at Chelsea, don't forget. Jamie O'Hara, got your facts wrong, but you caught me off guard because I didn't have the numbers in front of me. So well done to you, but you narrowly avoided that. Everyone keep liking and sharing. Oh, mate, thank you very much. I wish the next stop was the PPC, my friend. Let's hope. But getting to sit next to Colin Frey at the week, at the weekends is becoming quite fun, to be completely honest. I think I might have to do a little bit more of that. It's very nice. It's very nice. We've got front of first tier ring £100, but there are tickets much cheaper and much more expensive. Well, so what comes with that then, Greg? Because I'm thinking of going a little bit all out almost, if you like. Maybe coming to meet Lee, doing a few interviews at the ground, maybe, or at the arena, should I say, making a bit of a night of it. Because, I mean, why not? It's just a once in a every now and then thing, and enjoy it. So yeah, let me know what comes included with that. I don't know what, is there anything special with it, or, tell me what the situation is with that. Cause I do want to look at, potentially, buying a ticket for that, and a decent ticket as well. So let's have a look at, stand-ups away days. I love your blogs. Nice to, yeah, look, everybody's nervous. Liam's really, really good YouTuber. Just don't lose motivation, Liam. If you're listening, don't lose motivation. Keep going. You're doing good. Has it been confirmed that Nia Cartier has a hamstring injury? From what I've seen, I mean, yes. I don't know if Steve Cooper has said it or what. But I will just say on this occasion that I think he'll be back very, quickly. Obviously, I spoke to the journalist. His name's Mahmood. And he said to me that a member of his entourage confirmed that he'd be back in 2 to 3 weeks. Now, I tried to get in contact with this member of the entourage, but at this particular point in time, he didn't want to talk because he'd already spoken to journalists when he probably shouldn't have. I don't know the situation. But yeah, Nia Cartier, probably the injury not as bad as everybody thinks it is. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens in that regard. So, but as I say, Nia Cartier, 2 to 3 weeks, anything could happen on this. To be completely honest, anything can happen. Now let's have a look at some of these comments. Come with me, Liam, come with me. We'll make it happen. If there's a decent package that, maybe you get to meet Lee or a couple of the fighters, or you get to sit fairly close. I'll definitely have a look at it. I don't know what the date is of the fight. I've been kind of not really looking at it fully, to be honest. But yeah, if you just let me know, Greg, because obviously, Greg, if you can just let me know what the tickets are like and whatever, then that'd be great. But guys, let me know how you're feeling ahead of this Tottenham game, because I know some of you are just joining. There's 118 of you. Please drop a like if you can. Goes a long way, as I say. But let's talk about Forest. Let's talk about Forest, shall we? Let's talk about predicted lineups. Let's talk about more. Has Cooper signed his contract yet, or have I missed it? No, he hasn't. I know that people are saying, and there was a suggestion by myself as well, that perhaps, that he's using it as leverage in the transfer window. I'm just not 100% sure that is definitely the case. I don't think there's anything else other than that to do with it. I don't think there's anything bad going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. And I don't think there's, like people are making out. I literally just think that he's just wanting to get all of this out of the way first and then signing it because he has other things on his mind. He doesn't want to make it about him. He wants to make it about the team, which for watching his press conferences, speaking to him as a person would actually make sense to me. So for me, I would just say, I wouldn't even say it's leverage. I would just say that he just wants to concentrate on getting the job done, because that's the kind of manager he is. So, and yeah, as Nick said, he says himself, but that being said, Nick, obviously you can't just take the word for it and just go, well, he said that, that's just how it is. You don't know how he's feeling deep down, but from what my suspicion would be that, he's just focusing, and that's what he wants. So people read too deeply into it, though. And there was that whole period of time where people were like, oh, he looks upset, or, oh, the owner's not doing this, or, if you're really complaining about what the owners are doing at the club, then there's some serious issues there that I think that they need to be established, to be honest. So, yeah, I think that he's just waiting, just getting it all over and done with, and then he'll think about himself a little bit later on. I just think he's a very selfless person. I think he cares a lot about the team, and just puts it ahead of whatever, he just puts it at the forefront of what he does. Yeah, that's the reasoning. That's the reasoning for that. I mean, it's slightly odd, but no, that's the situation. Any news on Josh Bowler? Nothing new from what I've seen. I know that they were saying it on TalkSport today. Funnily enough, I'll mention that a couple of clubs were interested, like Nottingham Forest, but it doesn't look like any real developments have been made. I know that Serge Aurier is still a target for Forest. Obviously, you've got Renan Lodi, who's going to be coming in, and we haven't really actually spoke about Renan Lodi. So let's have a little chat about Renan Lodi, shall we? Now, he plays for the Spanish giants, Atletico Madrid. He's only 24 years of age, and he's also a Brazil national as well, playing on the international team. Now, he's 5'8". He's not a massive guy, but that being said, according to Football Aero, he's one of the best prospects in world football in terms of a left back. Now, Max Goodwin was right to point this out, by the way. Max, if you are listening, you were correct on this, and I agree. That just because Football Aero are a very good, journalistic network, I'm sure, but just because they've said he's one of the best prospects, it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. But I will just say, and I know Wolverine rates him highly because all he does is talk about him and how, Toffolo would be pushed out of the team. But for me, Lodi is a very, very, very good player. Renan Lodi is a very good player. He's got a hell of a lot of potential. He's only 24. He's joining from Atletico Madrid. Also a very good team with a very good, coaching staff. So you have to look at it and go, he's not coming from a club where he's the only standout performer. He's coming from a team where there's a lot of very good players in. And if you're shining in that team, or if people are saying you're a very good player from watching that team, as a whole, that says a lot for me. So yeah, for me, I just think that if you're shining in an Atletico team, or if you're being mentioned by Atletico journalists or whatever, there's something going on. And I know, this was a big issue on Forest Fan Hub. I know if any of you did watch it, it was really, really interesting. It was a very good debate. But for me, and I'm just going to put my point out there, and I'm going to be absolutely honest, and I'm not going to back off on what I'm saying. I'm not going to back off at all, right? I don't care how much you've been bought for. I don't care how much you're on loan or how much we paid for a loan fee. I don't care how long you're on loan for. I don't care what club you've come from. I don't care if you play for the national team. If Toffolo is there and he's playing better, if he's performing better in training, if his attitude is better, and he's playing better overall than Lodi, then I would not even hesitate to put Toffolo on every week. Never. That being said, that we're going to have to give Lodi some time at least. So I think that there's a part of it where I go, and I think that Wolverine wasn't wrong in some aspects because Lodi is a very, very good player. And I'm sure that it would be good to actually converse with Wolverine. I know he's on Door's channel at the moment, so we won't be able to watch this. But it'd be good to converse with him about that. Because what I will just say is I don't actually agree, that... And Southpaw Red, you're saying... I mean, it does seem obvious, doesn't it? But from what Wolverine was saying is that, he's a better player overall from what we've seen in stats. Chuck him in the team then. That doesn't work for me. I don't like that way of approaching it because, and I'm not even looking at the atmosphere in the changing rooms, whatever. I'm not bothered about that at this particular moment. I'm saying if he hasn't played as well in training, if he hasn't showed the attitude that Steve Cooper wants to be portrayed throughout the club, if he hasn't shown the ethos that the club, has in regards to players, if he hasn't showed that he's any better than Toffolo, regardless of what his previous club was, then put Toffolo in. It doesn't matter if you've played for Atletico Madrid. Toffolo played for Huddersfield. If he plays better, then put Toffolo in. That being said, do I think that Renan Lodi could be the better option? Potentially. But then again, I've not seen Renan Lodi playing a Steve Cooper, a Steve Cooper formation or squad. So, at the end of the day, you've got to give him some time, introduce him slowly. And Harold, I wouldn't necessarily say 45 to 45 yet, but I would say maybe, 60th minute, 70th minute, chuck him on, get him on for the last bit of the match, give us a bit of an injection in terms of speed. And as someone very rightfully mentioned here, pardon me, Atletico and Lodi in specific, very, very accurate crossing ability. So I think that, you've got to look at Lodi as a very, very good player, a very well-respected player at Atletico Madrid. And, there's a reason that he was highly regarded. But that being said, they don't need him anymore. And Forest want him. So why not? They're going to go for it. But I do want to talk about why we need the 3 left backs, which is really interesting. And Tim just brings it up now. We're going to go deep down and we're going to go controversial. We're going to go very controversial now. And I want you to give me your honest thoughts on what I'm saying. If you think I'm talking crap, then tell me. But I'm going to give my honest opinions on this. And I've just realised I'm drinking out of an empty glass. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? It's despicable. So, just having a look at some of the comments here. Where's Greg? Because I want to see. No idea regarding meet and greet. We did ringside in the last fight, which was a VIP free bar and in-ring seats. But so Greg, how much was the VIP one? How much was that? I'm just looking at it because I want just a nice night out. I just want a nice night out, to be honest. I'm going and watching Lee because I was meant to go and watch him a couple of years ago, but I never ended up going. I mean, I was too young at the time, to be honest. So. But now I can go and do those things. Been to Germany by myself now. I'm a big boy. I'm a big boy now. I can do these things. Big lad now. I can do these things, you see. Bit past my bedtime, though, must admit. But I'm sure I'll be a let off today. I'm joking. So we would have... And I think that's spot on. If we did have, players just walking into a side based on, they've paid more for them. He's more highly regarded because of the team he used to play for, etc., etc. But my point being is that, and as it's just been rightfully pointed out by Harold, is that, you do go into a Fulham situation if that's the case. But Steve Cooper isn't the manager that does that. You've seen it with Brice Samba after his suspension. It took him a little while to come back into the squad, and if it wasn't for some unlucky bits on Ethan Horvath's side, he probably would have been in longer, So it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a bit of a headache for Steve Cooper. But there's a reason. There's a reason that fight. Oh, sorry, that fight. You're all putting boxing comments. There's a reason that position at the moment is such a hard one to pick for. But there's also a reason that they've gone for 3 left backs. I don't know if it will be anything to do with a 4-3-3. I've not heard anything personally, but I don't know. Maybe there's something about Richards that we don't know about. Maybe Renan Lodi's a little bit more versatile than we know. Maybe Steve Cooper's going to try something different with Renan Lodi. You don't really know, do you? So it's a weird one, to be honest. It's a bit of a weird one, but at the end of the day, Steve Cooper knows best, and there's a lot of competition in that squad. So you can't go wrong. Competition is very, very good for any team, and especially our team. An empty glass is a full potential. You know it. Colin Frey would never drink out of an empty glass. You're right. He wouldn't. He knows his stuff. Don't say this to me. I feel really bad now. But yeah, I love, listening to Colin Frey at the weekend was just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely loved, just hearing him, and just hearing what he does. Let's have a look at some of the comments now. Isaac says, in my honest opinion, I don't actually think that we really wanted Toffolo. I think we just needed him to find Lupin O'Brien's claws. Interesting. That's an interesting little conspiracy, if you like. Now, from what I can see, Toffolo's got a good attitude. You know, he's played well. Obviously, bit of a learning curve, the Newcastle game for sure. You can't hold on to the ball for that long if you've got, you know, good players running at you like Joe Linton, St. Maximin or whoever. But equally, that's a really interesting point because obviously, you know, we needed Toffolo, or as far as we know, we needed Toffolo to get the O'Brien deal over the line. So really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that we bought Toffolo just so that we could get O'Brien, or do you think that we actually really, really wanted him? Let me know what you guys are thinking about that. Yeah, that's an interesting point. That's a really, really interesting point. But as Desi says, Cooper we trust. Absolutely. Now we're approaching the last 10 or so minutes of the stream, so make sure you get all of your questions in and I'll answer them as soon as I can. Now, I just want to give you an update on streaming. I will not be streaming tomorrow. Well, I could potentially be streaming tomorrow evening. I don't really know at the moment. I'll let you know around midday if I can or not. It's just because I'm at my dad's tomorrow, so it's just equipment, etc. and things like that. But I will be streaming Monday night, and it'll be Ellie joining us as well. We've never had a female panelist as well, so hopefully Claire Smith joins us as well, because I know that Claire does bits on Door on Tour. But I'm sure that a lot of you will know Ellie. She does bits for Door as well, so she'll be joining very soon. And then me and a journalist called Jack Talbot, who I'm sure you all know by now, or you should do. If you don't know him, search him up, give him a follow. He's amazing, good journalist, and he will be coming on the podcast very soon as well. So yeah, he'll be coming on the podcast. There's a lot of stuff going on. I just want to say as well, I'll be bringing you podcasts with Forest legends and former players as well, whenever I can. Let's have a quick look. 300 quid. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I'll get the first tier seats then. I can't drink, so unless I have a sneaky one, which I'll get in trouble for, I'm not going to do that. What do you think of the links with the Sao Paulo player? Well, I know that Forest are looking, well, if they were to buy him to pay around 5.1 million UK, well, should I say English pounds? That's what they're looking at paying. That's how much Sao Paulo want roughly, or well, that's what we expect them to want. Transfer marks say they're worth about a roughly £5 million anyway, so they've got it almost spot on, but Forest have offered 5.1 million from what we now know. So it'll be interesting to see what happens regarding that, because obviously the player, he seems to be okay. His name's Pablo Maya, or should I say Forest are planning to offer 5.1 million for him, and that was reported by Jorge Nicola, who is from what I can see, a Brazilian journalist from Sao Paulo. So from what I know on that one, 5.1 million pounds is what Forest are going to offer, and it doesn't look like we're going to get Houssem Aouar to answer some of your questions. So and Iggy Tommy, for Toffolo, because for O'Brien to sign you needed Toffolo. It's part of a 2 deal. That's why on the day, you know, there was all the issues with well, you know, he might not sign now, you know, and O'Brien might not sign because Toffolo's agent's done this, or Toffolo's done this and this. So from what we can tell at the moment, Toffolo was key in that deal, and if he didn't want it to happen, which at the time we thought he didn't, but then all of a sudden he did, then it wouldn't have happened. So Toffolo was needed in that deal in order for O'Brien to join. So that's why the point raised is so important, because actually that's how it was with the deal. It was a double deal. So I really question us signing him just to get us O'Brien over the line, but I think Toffolo was signed as a depth player. Yeah, definitely. I think he was signed as a depth player, and obviously now it's just come to the for him. Luckily for him, he gets to play. But I can imagine that Renan Lodi is probably more of what Steve Cooper would want to see, to be honest, in the starting 11, which I don't like to say, actually, because I think Toffolo's been all right. But if Renan Lodi provides a bit more pace, good defensive attributes, and releases the ball a little bit quicker, it'll be interesting, you know. But that hasn't happened yet. Toffolo's not really got a reason to be kicked out of the squad just yet. So unless Renan Loddy puts in an absolute shift, which I think he could do, then we'll see what happens. Will Cook start tomorrow? I'm worried if he does, we'll be done for pace. Well, I think, look, I think we can all be worried by Cook's pace, of course, but you've got to notice, and him and Scott McKenna, both of them the same. They're always in good positions, you know, and there's an immense amount of experience when it comes to Steve Cook. So you've got to give him that in that regard. So for me, I wouldn't. Don't be worried. Don't be worried. Definitely don't be worried. But for me, it will be probably Cook, or you know, you might even see Kouyaté jump in the defence tomorrow. I mean, I highly doubt it, but if you're looking at how he played against Grimsby, maybe, you know, Cooper's looking at something and going, we've got an option there if not. So let me have a look at some of these comments. Yeah, Jack Talbot said he had COVID. Yeah, I've dropped him a message on WhatsApp about that. Just hope he's okay. I know that, well, it's definitely not a nice thing to have. So just hoping he's all right, but I know he'll still be doing the great work that he does. What was the point of us signing that Korean striker? This is also very controversial because I had a friend who's a Liverpool fan message me and he says, it's ridiculous. It's money laundering. It's this and this. Essentially what people are saying from Twitter, and I'm not going to say that this is the case because unless I know 100%, I'm not going to deliver my verdict on it, or unless I know enough about it where I can develop an opinion. So from what people are saying, essentially to get around FFP or some sort of financial regulation, as Olympiacos have done, they bought a player and loaned him to us because we couldn't do it ourselves for financial reasons. What we've done is we've bought a player and loaned him to them with probably not much intention of getting him back, or, you know, or maybe having him back a long way away, you know, in the next 2 or so years and not really use him. So from what people are saying, it's dodgy, but I'm not going to cast any judgment on that because I don't know. That's just what people are saying. So Steve Baker, I know you're a troll, you're a Derby fan, or you're Notts County, whatever you are. Then yeah, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. Well, I say it's good to have you, but you're just going to be trolling us. So not really much to troll. You know, if you are a Derby fan, then congratulations, I guess, for beating whoever you beat. I don't even know who you beat. When will Serge Aurier sign? As surely he had his medical 2 days ago. There's a lot of reports going around saying that he's had his medical, that he hasn't had his medical. The last thing I heard from David Kent was that there's not been a medical done. But in the last 5 hours, Dharmesh Sheth, who does Sky Sports News, he's very well known for Sky Sports News, and he also does the Transfer Talk podcast as well. He says that Forest's 2 closest signings are Renan Loddy from Atletico Madrid, and then Serge Aurier on a free transfer. So from what he's saying, Serge Aurier could happen, but we'll have to wait and see. But at the moment, it's looking like Serge Aurier likely and Renan Loddy even more likely. So very intriguing indeed. But that's that situation. Let's have a look. Loopholes are there to be exploited, if that's even the case, but I don't even know if it is. I'm sure there's more to it. Nick says there's nothing illegal about it, but obviously, Nick, different opinions. But I don't know the situation, so I'm going to let people talk about that. Give me your verdicts on it, but I don't know. So, and you know, I don't know anything more than you guys do on that regard in that loan. You know, I don't know. So yeah, but listen, last 5 minutes of the stream, people, get your questions in and I'll answer them with my complete honest opinion, whether it be brutal or whether it may be your opinion. It's not actually true. I'll give you my verdicts and talk about tomorrow's game against Tottenham Hotspur. Don't forget, tomorrow at 4:30 at the City Ground, Nottingham Forest kickoff against Tottenham Hotspur in game week 4. Game week 4. Already in game week 4, we've seen Man City come back and win 4-2 against Crystal Palace. We've seen Liverpool destroy Bournemouth by 9-0. We've seen Leicester, which might be relative to you, Stephen. I hope you're well as well. Thank you for wishing us well. We've seen Leicester lose against a 10-man Chelsea. They are yet to win a game in the Premier League. It looks like things are going from worst to worst for Leicester. And obviously, Manchester United getting a win against Southampton as well. But tomorrow, Nottingham Forest looking to get something out of a game with Spurs in a game where Nottingham Forest are 100% the side that everybody is betting on losing. That being said, though, I've actually placed a bet on Forest to get the better over Spurs. Whether I think it'll happen or not is a different story. But when you've got odds like 6-1 on there and you've got £5 that someone owes you, you've got to use it, haven't you? So 6-1, Nottingham Forest to beat Spurs tomorrow. And if I win 30 quid. So Forest, if you can win, that'd be nice. But if not, who cares? I don't care. So we need a song for Jed. You know what? And I just want to talk on the whole Jed situation. Look, that ship sailed. Jed's done, with Forest in that regard. The part of history where Forest, and Jed Spence were together, and that season that we had with him, you can never forget. You can never forget that, the amazing work that he did to help us get promoted. You can never forget how much time he put into the team. You can never forget the contribution that he's made. But he's not our player anymore. So don't worry about him. I just see people going, oh, he's been left out of the squad. He's done this to his career. He's ruined this. He's done this. At the end of the day, don't worry about that. Let's focus on our team. Let's focus on our players. Let's focus on Nico Williams, who we bought in, who's, in my opinion, overall better all round, and let's just focus on what we're doing, and let Jed Spence get on with what he's doing in his team, and I'm sure, albeit not a very easy situation he's in at the moment with Conte and Spurs, but I'm sure it'll be resolved, and I only wish him the best in his career. So, you shouldn't be betting, and actually I'm not betting. So I just want to say this. Someone owes me £5. They're an adult, and all I've said is you might win some money. Chuck my £5 on there. If we win, then I might get something back. So I'm not old enough to gamble, no, but proxy gambling, don't know. Nobody knows, do they? And yeah, I'd like to thank Jed. He's the reason we've got Nico. Look, but Jed's been he was a very good servant to the club for what, in the time that he was there. He did a good job. He got a lot of goal contributions. He got a couple of nice long shot goals as well, which we had the joy of watching. And you've got to, you just got to say thank you, and thank you, next man up. Next man up. And that's what we've done with Nico Williams. So that's just how it is with Jed Spence. But the last kind of questions you want to ask, please get them in, because I'm going to be going very, very shortly. Steve Baker, I'm not being offensive, but I say you look around 15. That's definitely offensive. Cheers for that, Steve. Would you take Jed on loan? No, not interested. I'm not interested in in Jed on loan, to be honest. I think, if we're going to get Serge Aurier, take him. He's got a lot of experience in the Premier League, obviously played for PSG for a while, Tottenham, then he played for Villarreal. He's got a lot of experience in some of the best leagues in Europe. So yeah, I'd say 100%, I'd say 100% no, having Jed Spence on loan. We won't even need him. Thoughts on Biancano's performance against Grimsby? I mean, I only saw little snippets, to be honest, Liam. You'll be able to say better than me, and I know you didn't really rate it. But I don't really know what to say on that because I wasn't there. But I saw that he made a couple of good passes or whatever, but I was not there, so I won't be able to give you my honest thoughts on that. Iggy Tommy, I mean, look, that is his career. He's made that choice. Another analogy: make your dinner and eat it. He's done what he wants to do with his career, and that's his choice. London lad wants to do what he wants to do, so let him do it. Let's just focus on our team. Think Toffolo was against signing for us because he probably felt that we were using him a bit, and then found out that Richards was injured, so he signed. Potentially, but I don't know how he's going to react to this new situation. But then again, you don't know what the coaching staff have got cooked up, or the tacticians that we have there have got cooked up. But yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. We'll wait and see what happens. But a lot of people saying a 4-3-3 could be used tomorrow. Who knows? Let's just wait and see. Because obviously, big game tomorrow. We'd like to at least get something, but obviously we know it's not going to be that easy. Forest love to reveal signings on a Sunday. They do. Very weird. Usually when I'm at work, but thankfully I'm not at work this weekend. So I'd love a walkout announcement, to be honest. I'd love Ren and Loddy to walk out at the City Ground tomorrow. Could you imagine the noise? Amazing. Was Omar Richards injured when we signed him? I don't really know. I don't know. I've got my suspicions, to be honest with you, but I don't know on that. Yeah, and as Isaac says, it was rumoured, but you know, I don't think the club are going to say if that was the case. But as Nick says, you know, the injury happened after. I don't really necessarily know. I know that there was a couple of rumours going around about medicals and false medicals or whatever, but at the end of the day, unless I know 100%, I'm not going to comment on that because it's certainly not an easy one to comment on, and also one where, unless you know 100%, if you say the wrong thing, it's certainly not good. I'd love a reveal before the game. Yeah, I'd love that. You know, just have them walk around the side of the pitch or whatever, and I don't know, just put the shirt on like Casemiro did it against United. That'd be cool. Toffolo, represented by Nico Williams' agent. Didn't know that. Interesting. Right, guys, it's been a pleasure to bring this stream to you. As I say, I'm working on a couple of little things here and there. Bit new streaming graphics, new streaming software, got in a green screen. Got a couple of little things just coming along the way. Don't forget the Door on Tour is now streaming alongside Ez, Warren, and Rads. So if you do want to go and have a quick look, as I say, Door is streaming right now. So feel free to go and have a little watch of that and enjoy it. So thank you all for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring another stream to you. Don't forget, we're going to be streaming, hopefully, well, we're definitely going to be streaming Monday and maybe tomorrow as well. But I'll get back to you with that. So thank you all for joining. Have a fantastic night and keep conversing in the comments. Don't worry, because I will get back to your questions. So thank you all for joining. Take care and good night.